Hello, so welcome to episode 3 of my foundation series. Today we are going to be doing a buy or beware on the Natasha Denona Face Glow Foundation. And I picked this up probably in the spring or earlier this year. And I picked it up because I heard a lot of good things about it, as I'm sure is the reason a lot of people pick up lots of different makeup products. And I've actually never tried any products from Natasha Denona before. This is the first one. I haven't bought any of her eyeshadows because I do not wear eyeshadow enough to justify like a $160 palette. Although the shadows are beautiful, I just know I wouldn't wear them, and I can get pretty much the same effect from like a ABH palette or something. But I did want to try this out because I was like on a really big like dewy glowy skin kick in kind of the summer. I still really am. And I want to try this out because this is supposed to be a really glowy foundation. So let's talk about this foundation a little bit. One, the packaging is really beautiful. It has like kind of this like soft pearlescent seashell pink kind of tube, and it does have a pump, which I do really like, although you guys will see in the application that yeah, sometimes the pump doesn't really work that great for me, but overall it is a good packaging. I do like this packaging because it's really nice to pump out product. This is $54 at Sephora, which again, kind of mid-range, and you do get 30 milliliters or 1 fluid ounce. The downside about this product right off the bat, which will be in a con later, is that it only comes in 12 shades, which is terrible. I'm in the shade 42. I don't even remember how they numbered their shades, but the description for number 42 was medium dark with yellow undertone. So I kind of fall into like a pretty standard medium category. So considering there's probably only like 3 or 4 shades deeper than this, means that not a lot of people can wear this foundation, because if I'm like the 5th deepest shade that you can get, that is not very good. This is supposed to have a natural finish. It's supposed to give your skin a really nice dewy glowy effect, and it's supposed to be actually a medium coverage. So with that said, let's go through the application and wear test. As always, I'm going to start with a primer with this foundation. Again, I'm using the Tatcha Silk Canvas primer, and still really liking this. I'm using quite a bit of it, but I still feel like I still have lots of product. So of course the Face Glow foundation is a more dewy finish. It's very glowy on the skin, and I will typically just use this with a middle of the road type of primer, not in the terms of quality, but in terms of finish, because of course you can get more mattifying primers, you can get more dewy primers, and the Tatcha Silk Canvas I feel like is just kind of in the middle. It just leaves your skin with a nice satin finish, not matte, not drying, and not dewy. So pretty neutral, and that's what I like to wear under this base. If I did want this to last a little bit longer through the day, I would wear a more mattifying primer. Unfortunately, I don't have any more mattifying primers in my collection right now. I think I used up the last one I was using, which was from CoverFX. Anyway, I am just trying to pump out some product here. I find this type of packaging to be very inconvenient sometimes. I used to really like them, but now I'm just thinking, why can't it just be a tube, or why can't it just be like in a glass jar with a pump? But the combo of the two, sometimes you end up with situations like this where it's difficult to get product out. Oh, I feel like this is the type of base that you should also shake, because I'm going to zoom you guys in, but you can see a bit of separation here in the product. So hopefully you can see the separation there. And the white is very shimmery, and then of course you have like a cream color. Very bizarre. That does happen to me sometimes when I use this product, and like I said, I feel like it's a product that you should shake, but because it's in the tube, you can't really shake it. So that's why it's like just pick one or the other, but having the hybrid packaging on this type of product doesn't make sense to me. It is a bit more of a thick, creamy consistency. If I had to rank the viscosity of this product between some of the other products that I have, I'd probably say that this is definitely a little bit thicker than the It Cosmetics CC Cream and the Chantecaille Just Skin. It doesn't apply cakey in any way, it's just the viscosity of it feels a bit thicker. My MO with these types of products is to blend it initially with fingers, and then just take a brush or a sponge to blend it even more, and also to kind of blend out all the harsh lines. A brush isn't even really my favorite way to blend this product out. I do prefer using a sponge. So this is the Real Techniques. So this is with one layer of foundation. So it took away the redness pretty well. You can still see the hyperpigmentation here on my cheeks. This is a light to medium coverage foundation. So I'm gonna do just one like light layer of this base and then see how well it covers up the hyperpigmentation. Okay, just do one more coat here. I'll just take my sponge to blend it in. So there's two coats. It did do a little bit of a better job covering up the hyperpigmentation, but as you can see, my skin is very dewy. So it is sitting really nicely on this skin, but because of just the glow factor, this is definitely a product that will transfer if it's not set down very well, and it'll probably move around throughout the day just because I do have more combination oily skin. So I will do the rest of my face using pretty much all powder products, and then we will evaluate the final look. This is the finished look. I went a little extra just because I am going to try to film a couple of videos right after this. So I put on falsies, which I rarely ever do, but these are actually really cute. They are the Velour Effortless collection. They, I think, just released at Sephora. I haven't used velour lashes in a really long time, probably over 5 years. They were $34, which again, for someone who does not spend money on false lashes, I thought was kind of expensive. In terms of the makeup, the lip color I'm wearing is the Vinylic Lip from Glossier Play and Pony, which is their like neutral color. I am wearing the Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk eyeshadow palette on the eyes, the Pillow Talk Cheek to Chic blush from Charlotte Tilbury on the cheeks, Fenty bronzer. I kind of layered the two and it actually looks kind of nice. Laura Mercier Baked Radiance highlighter in 01. They only have really the one highlighter. And for powder, it's the Wowder from Glossier. Anyway, that is the face. I actually quite like the look. It's very easy. It's kind of a lot of makeup, but at the same time, it doesn't look over the top. It's just kind of very effortless in the way I like to wear makeup. So I'm wearing a lot of it, but it doesn't look super heavy. The base actually looks very good. Everything blended really nicely on top of it, even though the base itself was a very, I wouldn't say tacky, but yeah, dewy finish. The powders layered over it really nicely. It didn't move the base around or anything, so that is a plus. So I will see you guys later to see how this wears. Hello. Okay, so I am currently standing right in front of a window because it is very overcast right now, so there's not a lot of light, and it's been about 2 and a bit hours since I applied the makeup, so I just wanted to do a quick update. I did reapply the lipstick. I just actually put new coat on right before I turned on the camera. That's because I had lunch and I always typically wipe my lip product off before I eat. So everything else is as I left it this morning, and it still looks pretty good actually. Hasn't worn too much. My forehead might be getting a little oily, but I'll do like a blot test later on. I don't feel like it's quite at the peak of its oiliness yet. I also have not filmed any videos like I said I would. I've actually just been playing on the iPad because I bought myself an Apple Pencil and I am obsessed with it. So I've just been like doodling notes. I'm trying to move towards I guess digital note-taking. Anyway, enough about that. I just want to do a quick update on the makeup. Okay, so it's been about 8 hours since I first applied the makeup, and I'm going to be washing my face in a little bit. So I thought I would do my final check-in. I think you guys can see that I am a little oily, very shiny kind of all around. My cheek area, my forehead. We'll do a blot test so you can see how oily my forehead is. No one ever claimed that this foundation was a matte, long-wearing foundation. So typically when I wear it, I do get very oily. It doesn't really have a lot of oil control properties to it. So if you wanted, you could probably use a more oil controlling powder, but if that's kind of the look you're looking for, you're probably better off with a more satin matte foundation. You can see also there's quite a bit of transfer of the product Now, other than the oiliness, I don't see any movement of the base. I don't see any creasing around my fine lines. There is a bit of creasing under the eyes, but really easy to smooth that out. I don't feel like that's a deal breaker. The bronzer and the blush, as you can see, are still very prominent, but the base itself has faded quite a bit on my chin and my jaw area. So it looks a little bit odd. But overall, I'm not displeased with how it looks. So other than the fact that I looked pretty oily after an 8-hour day, the base itself looks pretty cohesive. I don't notice like too much fading in one specific area over another. Nothing's really shifted. It's just a glowy foundation. Okay, let's talk about the pros and cons about the Natasha Denona Face Glow Foundation. So starting with what I liked, so the pros. I did like the glowy finish that this gave my skin. And my trick for glowy foundations, because you guys know I have combination skin, so oily T-zone, kind of normal everywhere else, is that I will powder my T-zone. It's not really that much extra effort for me because I tend to do it anyway, regardless of what kind of foundation I'm wearing. So that's kind of the trick I use. And depending on how dewy or glowy the foundation is supposed to be, and I know I have a really oily T-zone, I will sometimes use like a powder foundation because I feel like it kind of clings to my skin a little bit better. Surprisingly, also for such a glowy foundation, it did not move my makeup around. My makeup actually looked really good throughout the day, which is surprising typically with foundations like this that don't really have that longevity, or you don't think would have that longevity. Everything kind of just shifts around and fades. I didn't feel like this faded as much as regular foundations, and I also actually really liked how my skin looked at the end of the day. My cons about this foundation kind of totally contradict the pros, but it is very glowy. So if you do have a very oily skin type, this probably is not something that you would love, because even if you powder, this isn't going to help control your oil whatsoever. I also really don't like that they only have 12 shades in this foundation, because yeah, it just excludes a lot of people. And even just for me, and I told you I'm like kind of in the standard medium range, I found it very difficult to find a foundation to suit my skin. And again, another con really just depends on your preference, is that it provides no oil control. So my final verdict on this foundation is a beware. And I only say beware, even though I really enjoy this foundation, I still wear it all the time, is that it is going to be a little bit choosy about the type of skin types that can actually wear it. On Sephora's website, where they actually tell you the recommended skin types that this is suited for, it just says normal and dry. So if you do have oily skin, you do have to beware, because it may or may not work so well with your skin type, and it might wear well, but you might just not like the finish that you get at the end of the day. So just keep that in mind. For me personally, combination skin, love this base despite its flaws. I just, really don't like how there's limited shades, because it's hard to find the perfect shade for you. Oh, I also wanted to mention that this product contains silicones. It is, again, one of those ingredients that is listed on Sephora's website that they tell you all the different great things about, what silicones do for your skin, but some people are sensitive to that, or they just don't like silicones in their base products, so keep that in mind also. But that is what I think about the Natasha Denona Face Glow Foundation. Let me know if you have tried it and what you think about it, and leave me your thoughts in the comments below. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!